Hi, it's Charlene. In light of today's holiday, I wanted to bring a couple of pieces of information to you today. So we are going to talk about the Easter Bunny. We're going to talk about Easter eggs. And I'm not sure if you've heard of maybe like the Microsoft Easter eggs. So we'll talk a little bit about those software nuggets. And lastly, two of my favorite podcasters. So first we have, where does the Easter Bunny come from? The hare and the rabbit was originally used in medieval church art, and it's widely believed that the hare was a hermaphrodite, in fact, getting pregnant without having the relations to be able to get pregnant. And of course, rabbits and hares were symbolized as fertility in ancient times, and of course, since birds lay eggs and rabbits and hares give birth to large litters in early spring, the eggs and the rabbits were largely connotated with rising fertility of the earth at the time of the March equinox. So that's how those two sort of come together. And of course, we all probably know that rabbits and hares breed quite frequently. In fact, female hares can get pregnant with the second litter while pregnant with the first litter. So of course you've probably heard that term, breeds like bunnies. There is some truth to that, in fact, and it's probably no surprise then that we also relate that particular fertility with our Easter folklore. Now, the decorating of the eggs isn't, I guess it isn't quite as identified in the literature that I found, although since we have the eggs and the birds in springtime, flowers are just starting to bloom. Many people thought that maybe that's how the two came into relation with each other, and people would in fact dye their eggs with the flowers. And there's a little bit more specific information. Many Christians of the Eastern Orthodox Church would dye their eggs red, of course, a symbol of the color of blood in recognition of the blood of Jesus Christ, and of course, renewal of life at springtime, and the earth is starting to come back alive again after its winter sleep. In addition, some thought that they used the green color of the foliage, again as a symbol of coming back to life, to dye those eggs with. Now, German Protestants wanted to maintain the tradition, but they didn't want to introduce their children to the Catholic fasting. So they, being the German Protestants, used the Easter eggs with the absence of Lent, which the Catholic tradition follows. Another idea was that the German immigrants brought the OsterHaus. I don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly, but the HASE in OsterHaus means hare or rabbit, which of course ties into the Easter Bunny tradition, and that it's a hare and not necessarily a rabbit. But again, it does bring in that tradition, which ties with, if you've ever heard of Grimm's fairy tales, this particular Jacob Grimm was the one who sort of tied the two together with Ostare, the Germanic goddess. So there we have the, of course, the German translation is OsterHaus. So that is where that particular piece comes from. Now, modern times have brought a new twist, I guess, if you will, to the phrase Easter egg. Some companies like Google, for example, might post an Easter egg on their website, and it's just a little hidden nugget that if you happen to have the right browser and the right conditions, you'll be able to see that little Easter egg, and it's a nice little treat. And lastly, two of my favorite podcasters, Rojan and Lobo, will sometimes throw a little Easter egg into their specials. So if you are familiar with any of those little hidden nuggets, good for you, because then you're probably familiar with the show. And that is my little interpretation, I guess, if you will, of how we have the Easter Bunny, Easter eggs, a little bit about software, and of course, got to throw out my two favorite podcasters. So I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.